残酷な天使のように少年よ神話になれ青い風が今胸のドアを叩いても私だけをただ見つめて微笑んでるあなたそっと触れるもの求めることに夢中で運命さえまだ知らない痛いけな瞳だけどいつか気づくでしょうその背中には未来目指すための羽があること残酷な天使の手で窓辺からやがて飛び立つほとばしる熱いパトスで思い出を裏切るならこの空を抱いて輝く少年よ神話になれ。
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting. You guys are awesome. If you're new to the channel, don't get freaked out by the intro. I know it was a little weird. We do different intros every day. We just have a good time. It's always fun. So that being said, moving on to look at what's happening, we are seeing a little bit of red. Nothing major, nothing too drastic, slight red across the boards. Now, this was to be expected. You know, we've been following this wedge for quite some time. And obviously, we had the green candle. The wick came up, tested right around 6734, pulled back. We had another one that tested around 6670, pulled back. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this pattern all the way through to the end of October. We could potentially still see a $6,200 Bitcoin. So that being said, Bitcoin currently is sitting at $6,574 with a 52.4% Bitcoin dominance, market cap sitting around 217. If we have a look at the biggest gainers of the day, DGTX futures. Now, where did we hear about that? That couldn't have been in my video from last night. But seriously, a lot of people are very speculative about DGTX. They're really trying to tackle, basically they want to take down BitMEX is what they want to do. They want to be the competition. So a lot of people are getting pumped about that. We also have Eternity up and pretty high as well, 17%. Eternal token doing well again. We have pundix. They had some news that came out. Pivx, Bytum, Elastos, GX Chain, Nexo, and Polymath. So good for those coins across the board. Now, moving on, we have to talk about this interesting article that came out. So this is a recent study from Juniper Research that states that the cryptocurrency market could implode on that transaction volumes are decreasing. Now, we've discussed this on the channel before. I mean, obviously, if we go back, we do see that the volume has drastically decreased over time. Now, we've attributed this to the fact that a lot of people are just kind of waiting on the sidelines. No one really knows what Bitcoin's going to do right now, so they're not really making any crazy decisions. You know, you had Joseph Young, he came out with that article the other day that we went over. But according to them, this is a report that's dubbed The Future of Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin and Altcoin Trends and Challenges 2018 through 2023. So basically, Juniper assessed the challenge of digital currencies with a focus on technical, social, and regulatory concerns. The survey also analyzed such issues like regulatory developments across the market, exchange failure, hacker attacks, and blockchain forking and the impact on crypto volatility. So basically, in a nutshell, this is what they had to say. They said, based on activity during the first half of Q3, Juniper estimates a further 47% quarter-on-quarter drop in transaction values in that quarter. In short, given our concerns around both the innate valuation of Bitcoin and the operating practices of many exchanges, we feel that the industry is on the brink of an implosion. Now, I don't necessarily think that the industry is on a brink of implosion. I just think that it's like the purge. There's a lot of projects, a lot of coins, there's a lot of things out there that don't really make sense right now. I mean, you know, we have, according to CoinMarketCap up here, over 2,054 different cryptocurrencies. They're clearly not all going to survive. I think there was a lot of speculation, a lot of retail investors, and right now we're just kind of waiting it out. We're just sort of seeing what's going on. That happens to be my opinion, but then again, if you look over at this chart, you can clearly see that there is a lot of use cases. Now, granted, it's mostly gambling dApps, but according to Kevin Rook, he says there was over 65,000 active users on Ethereum and EOS dApps today alone, which is an all-time high, right, for dApp traffic. Now, he does point out 45,000 of those are on gambling-related dApps, like I said, but, for reference, CryptoKitties only hit around 10,000 daily users shortly after its launch. So that kind of puts into perspective how it's growing. Yes, it might be gambling, but you know what? Let's be honest. Gaming in general, blockchain games, right? Non-fungible tokens. We have all these different projects, and gambling as well. People love to gamble and play games. So I'm not surprised that, isn't this whole space a gamble anyway, really, when you kind of look at it? So moving on, the thing I wanted to point out real quick was I just wanted to show you this little, just brief insight into crypto related to stocks. Now, as you can see right here, Amazon.com in 2000 had a high of $75.25, and then it fell to a low of $5.51 in 2001 to 2002. Look at these other ones. You have Cisco Systems going from 82 to 11, etc. You could go down the list. I mean, some of these didn't rebound as well, obviously, but it just goes to show you that even if you had bought Amazon stock at the all-time high of $75, currently today it's sitting around $1,824. So you'd still be up. So that kind of just puts into the mentality of, if you invest in something that's good, right, it does well, but then there's the question, what are the good projects? Well, that's what we try to do here every day, is we try to find these projects. We try to talk to these new tech and developers and see what's happening. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. Now, an interesting thing that David Schwartz brought up, it says a study shows that China controls around 74% of Bitcoin. Does that sound decentralized to you? Now, this is out of this there was an article, it's called China Has the Power to Destroy Bitcoin. But the other thing I wanted to point to is that he says, in case you missed it, I recently wrote an article about how proof of work systems are becoming more and more centralized while XRP is becoming more and more decentralized. So obviously you could see that this is coming from a standpoint of an XRP supporter. He's clearly on that side of the fence. And this brings me to my next point, which is tribalism in cryptocurrencies. So I wanted to sort of show you this video. This is not a new video. It's been circulating around, but I saw a couple people talking about it online, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. So this is basically called Cryptocurrency, Ego, and Beautiful Women, right? So this is from the Blockchain Cruise. This guy, he was hired by Bitcoin Cash to record everything, but he ended up recording a lot of other stuff as well. And so what he ended up doing was he put this out, and he realized that there's actually a ton of tribalism in Bitcoin, that really people are just fighting. My coin is better than your coin. And, there's one point that he actually does a clip where he shows Jimmy Song and Roger Ver having like a little bit of like an altercation, and a woman stands up, and you know what? Instead of me talking, let me just play it for you right now.
What is the topic that you want to actually debate?
Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash.
Is there a premise?
I think Bitcoin Cash doesn't really have a reason to exist. There you go.
So you want to say, does Bitcoin Cash have a reason to exist? And that's going to be the debate topic? And then what do you think about having the audience vote at the beginning if they think Bitcoin,
I don't want any audience voting. You've stacked the audience. It's
Jimmy, how many people do you see in the audience here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look, there's a bunch of people that you hire. How many employees did you bring?
I think that there's around 8 on the cruise.
Okay, they're all here.
Jimmy, calm down. Calm down. Everything's okay. We're in beautiful, Mediterranean with wonderful weather and a pool. Calm down.
No, what he wants to do is poll the audience beforehand. All right, then I am refusing to do the debate if there's 2 mics.
When we start the debate, we'll have 1 mic, but I have 1 minute to talk about the format. And anyhow,
I'm the moderator. If you don't want to do, okay, so
you're interrupting me, Jimmy. I didn't interrupt you doing your.
No. You took the mic. You took the mic.
You did the mic anyhow.
You took the mic.
I'm looking at all this with sadness. 2 men that behave like 5-year-old children in front of a shocked audience. Audience that came to hear about the possibility to be free, about the chance to be responsible for our own financial destiny. An audience that believed in them and left shocked. shocked to the realization that those men are leading us to our financial future.
What I've just seen on stage just looks like a real shouting fest, and it's making me nervous. I came here to find out about the politics and the vision of cryptocurrency, so I'm wondering if you can both tell me why I should believe in it, having seen what I've just seen.
Alright, 1 minute answer. Roger?
So you heard two people on stage here. One, Tone Bates here, said he's never switched to...
Let me save you his 10-minute speech. He didn't answer her question. Not him, and not anyone else. No one could answer why their ego is more important than the financial future of humanity. Why being right is more important than doing the right thing. What's the point of creating a new currency if you have the same mindset that led us to trouble with the old currency? The boring and the viciously destructive mindset. It's all about me. My path, my way. I'm right, you're wrong. My currency is better than yours. I'm smarter than you.
I'd like to ask Jimmy, have you read John Maynard Keynes' The General Theory of Money from cover to cover? I have.
This is just sad. Who cares about who's right and who's wrong? If you believe in it, go with it 100%. You believe in it, you go with that 100%. And let the people choose what works for them. Why do you need to argue? Why do you need to bring this argument to the public? Why do we need to see this shit?
So you could see how this could potentially turn off new people in the space, right? They would be concerned. Aren't you guys supposed to be the leaders, the people in charge, the people that we're looking up to, and yet you're just bickering like a bunch of, children and stuff like that. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Personally, for me, I think a lot of this the tribalism and everything like that, it's just really, really sad in the space. And I really wish that we could realize that the space is so small right now that we really need to join forces together, help each other do research, and really pull each other up rather than, fight over what coin is better. I don't know. Personally, that's just my take on it. Now, if you're curious about more debates, they have released the full version of the Roger Ver debate with Charlie Lee. So this is the whole hour-and-a-half long version in its entirety. If you're interested, I'll drop that below. And on a side note, speaking of Roger Ver, aka Bitcoin Jesus or Bitcoin Judas, depending on what side of the fence you're on, right? Depending on which tribe you're in, he's looking to launch his own cryptocurrency exchange, and he says that he was looking for a partner in order to develop the platform. He also suggested that he might build one internally. Apparently, the new exchange will use Bitcoin Cash as the base currency. I'm sure no one's surprised about that. And the thing is that they'll actually have it on Bitcoin.com. So, currently, I think there's only one other exchange that's really using it, and yeah, I forget. It's wrong. CoinEx. CoinEx is the only other exchange that uses Bitcoin Cash as a base pair and offers liquidity. It's number 32 on CoinMarketCap, but obviously if you have somebody like Roger Ver behind it, maybe it'll do a little bit better. So also, I wanted to, before we get into coin news, we have a lot of coin news today. I wanted to talk about this new Google ad that came out. I'm not going to play it. I'll drop a link because I don't know if there's like copyright issues or what, but basically it's, she gets a text right here on his phone, and it's the electric company, and they're telling them that your bill is like really high this month. And then he goes, yeah, well, cryptocurrency mining it costs a lot of money. And she goes, that's not real. And he goes, money's not real, right? So it was there you go. It's pretty funny. I don't know. I'll drop it below if you guys want to check that out. Now, moving on, let's talk about some coins. So the first one, we got spanked. Yes, that's the message that SpankChain used to inform its users that a hacker had exploited a bug in one of its smart contracts to basically steal 165.38 ETH worth about $38,000 at the time of the theft, and then another 4,000 of the platform's ICO token booty was immobilized as a result of the breach, bringing the total economic impact of the hack to around $42,000. The hack occurred roughly around 6 p.m. PST on Saturday, though the company did not discover the theft until the following evening. So, to summarize, in short, the attacker capitalized on a re-entrancy bug, much like the one exploited in the DAO. If you're not familiar with that, you could Google it. It's the whole thing with Ethereum when it's split into Ethereum Classic. So the attacker created a malicious contract masquerading as an ERC20 token where the transfer function called back into the payment channel contract multiple times, draining some ETH each time. So the company admitted that it had failed to pay for a security audit of its payments channel, which would have cost them around $50,000, which would have actually surprisingly been more than what actually got hacked. But they're saying as we move forward and grow, we'll be stepping up our security practices and making sure to get multiple internal audits for our smart contracts. Very important, guys. There's a lot of different projects out there. You have Certic, you have QuantStamp. You need to get audited because you're going to, people don't want to lose their money. So anyway, most of the affected funds belong to the SpankChain group, which was great. There was only about $9,300 worth of stolen funds that actually belonged to users, but nevertheless, it's still users' funds and they need to be protected. So these are things we need to look forward in the future to taking care of with these audits. By the way, you guys like my choice of highlighter? I thought it was very suiting for the whole look of the SpankChain logo. So moving on, let's talk about Airswap. They're the decentralized crypto trading platform. They're breaking out with a new corner of the crypto market. So they're launching something called Spaces. It's a new decentralized over-the-counter product. It will allow trading firms to create chat-like spaces to trade crypto. So basically, they can open their own space on the platform and then set the parameters for trading, similarly to how you can basically start a channel on Telegram and an administrator might set certain terms for engagement to the community. So a space can be opened or closed. You could designate specific tokens to be traded in it. The co-founder of Airswap, he said in an interview that one space might trade a handful of ERC tokens, but maybe not other ones, for example. So, with existing over-the-counter, you have that counterparty risk. And the onboarding process can take weeks via normal methods. So on Airswap's platform, they onboard clients in seconds and buyers and sellers can trade with each other via automatic swap. Similarly to Airswap's decentralized exchange, trading occurs peer-to-peer. So unlike other exchanges like Coinbase or Kraken, they don't automatically match buyers and sellers, nor does it maintain an order book of who wants to buy or sell at any given time. Instead, traders on the platform express an interaction to buy or sell, and transactions are closed via smart contracts. So it's a much more personal experience. Now, we also have UTRUST attempting to make the use of cryptocurrencies. Basically, they want to be the PayPal, essentially. So they've signed a strategic partnership in Europe to establish a beachhead for further expansion. One partnership that they had was with Gambio.de, which is a German e-commerce solution provider with more than 25,000 online stores. So according to UTRUST estimates, Gambio-powered stores generate around 30% of e-commerce revenue in Germany. So this could be a really massive move for them. So they say that these partnerships mean that from the first day of operation, thousands of merchants will be able to accept cryptocurrencies in a simplified way. Furthermore, customers will have access to proprietary digital wallets, which will allow them zero-fee transactions. Also, in other news, we have QLC team is excited to announce the launch of the testnet, multi-dimensional block lattice structure to monetize network bandwidth. We'll be hosting an AMA in 2 hours. Now, at the time of posting this was 7:02. It's currently around 11, so they're doing it right now. I couldn't get the video out any quicker, so maybe you guys can squeeze in for some questions right at the end if it's still ongoing. Maybe it's going all day, I'm not sure. Or worst case scenario, at least you can hop over there and just see what they had to say. So I figured I'd just drop it anyway. And I also want to talk about Icon. So you have the ICX Station San Francisco Launchpad kickoff that was attended by a whole bunch of crypto and traditional investors from Japan, Singapore, San Francisco, and Korea. But the interesting thing I wanted to talk about was you have the Deblock dApp Accelerator, right? So they are looking to incubate these different projects, and they've had 7 Icon dApps that were presented in total. So they had Zen Sports, Aspecta, MechaCoin, WeBlock, Stage, LogisticX, and Discover One. So they've highlighted a few of them right here. So you have WeBlock, an advertising alliance protocol for Icon, which is funny because look at this. When I went to Consensus, they actually gave us these bags, and I was looking at this, and I'm like, where have I seen this logo before? So I've actually spoken to these guys before. So yeah, they're doing like advertising and stuff. Then you also have Stage One, a tokenized entertainment platform currently operating with a working product in partnership with Cabo, a content platform with 18 million registered users. You have LogisticX, a last-mile logistics platform in Singapore powered by Park and Parcel, which processes more than 50,000 deliveries monthly. You have DiscoverX, which is a decentralized travel platform powered by GNM, I probably said that wrong, that runs the largest guest house service in Korea, as well as the most popular travel journal in Korea, Volo, with over 500,000 monthly active users. So you can see that these guys are getting busy, they're looking to incubate, and they're definitely trying to build out this Icon ecosystem as big as they possibly can with all these different projects. Now, we were talking about why was pundix up today? Well, let's talk about FunctionX. So this is making waves all over crypto. So first we had their point of sales device, then we had their XPass cards. Now pundix have demonstrated the first ever phone call made on the blockchain. So this isn't to be confused with, you know, something like what Finny is doing. This is a phone call made on the blockchain. So they did so at an ongoing, it was X Blockchain Summit at the Inaya Putri, Bali. The phone call was made on the newest device by the team known as the X phone. All right, let's check this out. So the X phone does not need a centralized mobile carrier to function. It runs on the new function X Blockchain by pundix. FunctionX is not just a public chain, it is a total decentralized solution. It consists of 5 essential components: FunctionXOS, FunctionX Blockchain, FunctionX IPFX, FXTP protocol, and the FunctionX Docker. By the way, side note, IPFX is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but we'll get into that later. So it says all 5 have one sole purpose, which is the decentralized all-app website communication and data. The FunctionXOS is based off the Android OS 9 and has backwards compatibility with Android apps. Each device on FunctionX ecosystem functions like a node and will have its own address and private key. This is starting to remind me a little bit like Elastos, guys. Just a little bit, like where like you are the carrier, you are the node, you are your own device, and you don't need to be connected to anything, right? Really interesting moving forward, but I do like how a lot of these projects are really looking into this idea of this like Web 3.0 new space. Now, this is basically their video that they had. This is their, let me turn it down. This is the introduction of FunctionX. This is part 1 of 6. So clearly they plan on doing this as a 6-part series, but if you're interested in part 1, I'll drop that below. Let's also talk about Genesis Vision. It says, and we are back to good news. Genesis Vision managers will soon be able to trade on OKEx, the second largest crypto exchange in the world. Congratulations, Genesis Vision holders. Moving on, I actually surprised you guys. I kept the XRP news to the end this time. You thought I would put it in the beginning, but I felt like switching it up. So you have Banco Santander, the multinational commercial bank and financial services company headquartered in Santander, Spain, will be using Ripple's ledger to settle all payments and improve customer experience through its OnePay FX platform. So this is more good use for Ripple as well. So you have Ed Metzger, the head of innovation. He said that the addition of RippleNet into OnePay FX is likely to streamline the process of other banks beginning to use Ripple-related products in countries like South Korea and Japan. He said too many companies have a peanut butter problem. They spread themselves very thin, working on lots of different initiatives. By contrast, Ripple has gone deep into understanding. Peanut butter problem, huh? Never heard that one before. It's pretty funny, though. So, before we get going, I wanted to give a massive shout out to Europe's top 50 women in tech. And guess who made the list? Let me get out of the way. We have our friend Galia Benarti. So she made the Forbes list, and if you aren't familiar with who she is, she's the co-founder and business development over at Bancor Exchange. This is awesome. It's great to see not only a woman, but also someone blockchain related getting involved in a Forbes list like this. I think it's great. I think it helps to point towards some adoption. And that's right, guys. I kept the craziest story for last. You know I had to do it. So there's a giant Bitcoin rat on Wall Street, and it's staring down the Fed. So basically, it's an art piece that was installed on Tuesday to pay homage to the giant rats inflated by union protesters as a way to point a finger at companies for mistreating employees. But this latest rat has been updated for modern times. Instead of a dull brown, it's covered in colorful code and math equations in an ode to Bitcoin. So the massive piece was installed as a sort of protest designed to get viewers to think critically about the state of economics and money management. Bitcoin will take you apart, the rat seems to argue from its perch in front of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's iconic stone exterior. On its piercing blue eyes, its pupils spell out the letters POW for proof of work, obviously. So it's not a permanent installation. It's expected to be on display for a few days, according to the artist Nelson Sayers. But long story short, he said that one of the other things you can also look at it is it's sort of poking fun at. You remember how Warren Buffett called Bitcoin rat poison squared? So that's kind of like a joke that was thrown in there as well. And yeah, basically he just wants to give viewers something to think about, you know. He kind of relates to how Satoshi in the original Genesis block, he kind of put that news article. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's really interesting. Read about the Genesis block of Bitcoin, and Satoshi actually inserted a news article that was basically against bailouts and stuff like that. So he says he really looks up to Satoshi, kind of sees him like Banksy, where they both stand for things and they exist without permission, and they're making such radical change while being kind of anonymous in the background. So he says that people have been mocking Bitcoin, but now it's at $100 billion market cap, so it's been scorned, but it will play a role in dampening the importance of central banks and fiat currencies. He's saying, I'm not saying it will, but that's why I chose a rat. And if that doesn't make you happy, guys, before we go, here's like a better picture of the rat I found online because they didn't really have good ones. And if that doesn't make you happy, guys, I found this pretty cool other piece of artwork. So somebody made like a fake bill, and it's supposed to be like a Bitcoin if it was a note, but like written on it is all educational things about Bitcoin, like secured and maintained by distributed open ledger, controlled by no one, currency of the internet, censorship resistant, more scarce than gold, performing checks and balances on corrupt tendencies of society, not a currency for government or a global currency for the people, free and uncensored, a new model of governance, proof of work. It's just SHA-256. It's just got like all these little hidden gems in it. So it was really like a cool thing to check out. So that being said, guys, I want to say thank you so much for coming back to my channel. You guys are freaking awesome. Wednesday, it's hump day. We're going to get over it. That being said, guys, later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern time, I'm actually going to be having a live stream with Crypto Beatles. If you're not familiar with him, he's a pretty cool dude. I'm sure he's going to be probably hanging out on a beach smoking a cigar. Must be nice. I'm over here in the studio just doing some news. You know how it goes, guys. But that being said, we're all in it together. We're not picking sides here. We're not picking coins, unless they're the good ones. And it's all about community. That's the main takeaway of the video today is tribalism. It's inevitable, but really we need to be here to support each other in the end, because that's the best way to tear us apart is from the inside out, and that's exactly what those guys want. And we don't want to do that, so we cannot let them tear us apart from the inside out, okay? That being said, thanks so much for coming back to the channel. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting, you guys are freaking awesome. I love you. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto, and peace out.